Now, if I asked you to think of the one iconic era-defining football advert, you'd probably go for this one.
Guys, we have a problem. The boss said that new devil is arriving.
Or for those of you with a more refined taste, you'd probably rank this one as the greatest of all time.
And this is no ordinary chopper. It's got special powers, and once we're airborne, you'll see just what I mean. I'm throwing on the afterburners, so hold on.
And of course, you would be right on both counts, but I'm a little bit more unconventional. I'm sure none of you could ever possibly agree, but for me, the greatest football ad of all time has to be the one that saw the '98 Brazil squad causing absolute havoc in an unsuspecting airport in scenes that today, in today's climate, would see them hogtied and waterboarded faster than you could say jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. So welcome back to They All Count, and I've been racking my brains trying to think of a new feature, something innovative, something new. So I thought what I'd do is I'd watch my favourite football ad of all time and then react to... Oh no, that's a reaction video. But before we get into the action, let's travel back to the spring of 1998. I remember it well. I was but 13 years old, wet behind the ears. Will Smith was getting jiggy with it in the charts. Kylian Mbappe had only just been born. Obviously I didn't know that then, but we do now. And social media, YouTube, Facebook, was still at least 5 years away in any form. The internet was still in itself a fairly new thing. Hard to imagine. Simpler times though, much simpler. Better? Yes. Well, that's up for debate really, but without the constant barrage of social media, when you did see a gem like this on the TV, it meant something. You didn't forget it, and you'd watch TV to try and watch this advert again. That's hard to believe, isn't it, for you youngsters? But okay, enough reminiscing, let's get into it. Okay, I'll stop it already. What I love about it already is just that 90s quality, that feel to it. Again, I said I'm not going to reminisce too much, but it's almost impossible for me to do this without it. But it already feels like a really cool music video from that point. I'm not saying Backstreet Boys were cool, necessarily. It's your call. But what it already feels like, it could be a Backstreet Boys video, like they're all going to be in different parts of the airport and then they're going to converge together and just smash into some dance routine. Oh, I'm so excited already. And wow, already Will Smith and Backstreet Boys references. This is one for the kids. Absolutely looking at that demographic. Okay, so very quickly, and we see the protagonist of this piece, the Brazilian Ronaldo, or the original Ronaldo, if you will. Not the fat Ronaldo, and not the old Ronaldo. Have some goddamn respect. Worth mentioning as well that this is the 22-year-old peak of his powers Ronaldo. He was absolutely tearing up Serie A at Inter Milan, and this is like 90s Football Italia level Serie A when it was properly amazing. It's still good now, but when it was properly good. And just the year previous, he'd picked up the FIFA World Player of the Year and the Ballon d'Or, so he was the best player in the world at this point. Okay, let's keep going. This could take a while. It's only a 90-second advert, but it's hard to not stop and look at it. Okay, so here we are. Now we're getting serious. So obviously Romario, Juninho, all of those players, big players at the time, excellent players, obviously. But it gets really interesting for me when Roberto Larcos steps in. He was an absolute god for me at that time. Obviously, you know that incredible free kick goal that he scored. But again, what I would say is this was pre-social media, pre-YouTube, pre-internet pretty much. So when a player like this, that you'd only seen maybe in highlights on TV and you'd maybe only read about, imagine just reading, then it was incredible. So cool to see them pop up in an advert like this. Actually, I suppose I can't go much further really without talking about the music. You're probably thinking, oh, that's the Black Eyed Peas, I know that. No, whoa, stop. This is the original. I don't want to come over all hipstery on you, but this is from the 60s, or the original one, Mas Que Nada, which is the name of the song, started in the 60s. There's been many different versions. I think this one was from 66, and it was Sergio Mendes who originally sung it. And isn't it just the perfect soundtrack to these shenanigans? I think I always assumed that this is what Brazil's just like. This sort of music's just playing all the time as people samba dance down the street while juggling footballs. So obviously the whole advert is beautifully shot. In fact, I didn't realise until I did a little bit of research before this, and I really mean it was a little bit, but I found out that it was actually directed by John Woo, who was a massive action film director in the 90s. He directed films like Hard Target or Face Off, absolute classic Face Off. If you've not seen that, go and watch after this is, but honestly, worth a watch. So you can see the sort of budget that Nike were putting into this. Oh yeah, and I also read that Romario did that first go. Of course he did. Of course he did. And this is great when it goes outside. This would not be allowed. I know some, and actually that noise there from Roberto Carlos, that's a real sound. That's actually what happens when he kicks the ball. Like, oh, there he is. Hang on, let's go back. Yep, there he is, Eric Cantona. Always good to see him crop up in a Nike advert. He's had some incredible roles on top of the cage with the walking stick, or playing on Hackney Marshes. We might have a look at that one day because that is another classic, the Park Life one. I think that's actually before this. Yeah, that was one of the first. Might have been the first Nike ad. And yeah, Eric Cantona's always cropping up. He's a little bit like Johnny Depp to Tim Burton when it comes to Nike ads. Well, another did you know before we keep going is apparently it was meant to be Diego Maradona in there. I don't think the director, to begin with, realised that a little bit of a rivalry probably wouldn't make sense to have him involved. So the really interesting thing about this ad is that it was released on the eve of World Cup 1998, a tournament that was exclusively Adidas sponsored. Nike at this point, and it's sort of hard to imagine, were pretty inexperienced when it came to football. They hadn't been around that long in the football sphere, or the football ball. And this ad was just one part of a $24 million pre-World Cup guerrilla advertising campaign. And well, do you remember any Adidas adverts from that time? I certainly don't. You watched this ad at the time, and you wanted a pair of Nikes. I think it still sits with me today. I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying, oh, their kids will only wear Adidas. Kids these days will only wear Adidas. I think it was these Nike ads throughout the 90s into the noughties that are the reason that I pretty much only wear Nike boots. Send me some boots if you can. If the address is, you'll find me. Absolutely iconic scene at the end. Lovely little roulette here. Always love this. I was a bit confused by the messaging here. He ends all of this great play by hitting the post. Generally, you got it inside the post, but still, you know, you can't beat that when it comes to football adverts. There's just no way. There's just no way. And actually, the reason I decided to make this video is there was a great callback to that scene in the most recent Nike ad with the original Ronaldo still in it, and it was very well shot actually, almost a like-for-like remake. And yeah, as I said, original Ronaldo, not fan. No, stop it. So there we go. The best football ad of all time, yeah? No? Well, I think it is, but if you don't agree, then let me know in the comments what your favourite one is, and maybe I'll take a look at that one day. And if you want to see more of this new innovative feature where I watch videos and talk about them, and yeah, okay, it's a reaction video, but if you liked these, then drop a like. Oh, drop a like. I'm saying drop a like now, as well as reaction videos. Okay, fine. That's where we're going with this. But yeah, smash that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to see more of these videos. Thanks for watching.